All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Janet Pichardo. I'm the Executive Director of Family Engagement here at Providence Schools. Thank you so much for joining our parent university this evening. And we are so happy to have our experts in our district. We have a few people here. We will go ahead and let them introduce themselves pretty soon. I'm going to go through some norms first. And now I will translate the information I just shared and then also provide our families that need Spanish interpretation how to access our interpreters. Buenas tardes a todos. Mi nombre es Janet Pichardo. Soy la directora ejecutiva de Asuntos Familiares aquí en el Distrito de Providence. Gracias por asistir a nuestra Universidad de Padres esta tarde. Tenemos unos invitados que son expertos en este tema que vamos a hablar hoy. Entonces, de nuevo, muchas gracias por asistir. Antes de empezar, nosotros queremos primero hablar sobre unas normas. So again, I'm going to go ahead and add some norms. I'm going to share my screen. Voy a compartir mi pantalla. 1 minute. Okay. Okay, so we're going to go through some norms. Vamos a mirar estas normas. What I'll share is what we see in our screen right now in English and in Spanish. If you can just follow. And I want to at least inform our families that need access to interpretation, and I'll have to repeat this at least twice because we have a few participants coming into the Zoom. Para nuestros padres que necesitan traducción a español, si miran hacia abajo de su pantalla, van a ver el globo. Si presionan el globo y le hacen clic, van a ver la opción del idioma español. Por favor, le hagan clic al idioma español. De una vez van a empezar a escuchar nuestro intérprete. Los intérpretes se quedarán durante el transcurso de esta presentación. Gracias. So at the very top, the presentation will be a webinar format. You will not be able to see each other, only the panelists and facilitator. Reminder to be respectful of each other's comments and lived experiences. This is a safe place to learn together. Not adhering to this norm may result in being removed from the Zoom. The panelists will try to answer as many questions as possible. Microphones of all attendees will be muted unless the attendees raise their hand to ask their questions live. Sessions will be recorded and posted in the district website YouTube channel. And these are just some features we wanted to make available to you and explain. So I just went through the interpretation, access to interpretation. So I'm going to repeat very quickly for our families just to make sure that they are looking at the very bottom of their screen and identifying the interpretation icon. Los padres que acaban de entrar al Zoom, si miran hacia abajo de su pantalla, pueden mirar el globo. El globo, si le hacen clic, van a poder ver el idioma español, en inglés, Spanish. Entonces, lo que deben de hacer es darle clic al idioma español y entonces van a empezar a escuchar nuestros intérpretes. If you're joining our Zoom via a phone or a tablet, you may need to press on more, which are the 3 dots, to be able to access interpretation. Para nuestros padres, si ustedes entraron al Zoom con el teléfono o una tableta, van a tener que presionarle a los 3 puntitos que dice more, que ya es más en inglés. Entonces, cuando presionan aquí, van a ver entonces la opción para elegir los intérpretes. And then at the very bottom, we will be interacting with each other by using the Q&A and also the raise hand. A little bit later, we will go ahead and use the chat. But it will be disabled for participants, but the chat we will use to go ahead and insert any links that we will be sharing with you. So again, at the very bottom of your screen, you should see Q&A. You are welcome to add any comments or questions into the Q&A where you can write the questions in English or in Spanish, or you can raise your hand and you can ask your question live. I will go ahead and call your name as it appears on your video. And then what you'll do is you'll unmute yourself because I am not able to unmute you. Okay. Okay, and then here again is just to remind you the chat is disabled. And so we'll just make sure that we'll share the links that we will be putting in the chat. And then finally, at the very end of our presentation from our guests, we will have some giveaways. These are some donations, and because we're in the holidays and getting very close to it, we have some toys here that we will be giving out, but it will be through a drawing. So we will have a feedback form that we're going to put in the chat, and we will ask you for your feedback. So very important, please stay to the very end. Your feedback is really important. These topics that we share in the Parent University are topics that come from your feedback. So again, it's not just because the Family Engagement Office just comes up with different topics. It really comes from the feedback that you provide in this Google form that I will add later into the chat. So these are the 3 items that we will be doing a drawing at the very end, but you have to participate in the feedback form. At the very bottom on the right to your screen, it says that each of these prizes will include meal coupons from Wendy's and Burger King, but also Roger Williams Park Zoo free admission tickets. And I believe there's 5 of each of these items in an envelope, along with these toys. Okay, so wait till the very end. Okay, so with those norms, I just wanted to now go ahead and pass it along to Gina Sylvia. Gina, I will have you introduce yourself and then your team, and we will be here to support in any way.
Thanks, Janet. Hi, my name is Gina Sylvia. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for having us. I'm the Director of School Counseling for the Providence Public School Department. And tonight I have here with me John Luis. He is a school counselor at Central High School. He has been for many years a school counselor. And I also have Ann Settergren. She is a school counselor specialist who works with me and my team, and she has been formerly a middle and a high school counselor for many years. So tonight's presentation, we're going to talk to you about the post-secondary college and career opportunities for students after high school. And we're also going to dive into some financial aid information that's available to students for them to explore those opportunities they may be interested in. And at this time, we're going to share our screen. And do you have access to do that? To go through the slide deck?
You should have access, Ann.
I have access if you want me to with Ann instead.
Yes, I said, can you do that, Gina?
Sure.
Okay.
All right. Everyone can see my screen, right?
Oh, yep.
All right. So here we are. We are part of the school counseling department for Providence Schools. And as I mentioned, we're here to talk about college and career planning for students after high school. Hey, Deanne.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm going to talk a little bit about graduation requirements and how they've been aligned to the minimum.
Ann, I'm sorry, Ann, we can't hardly hear you. I think your volume might be low from your computer. It sounds very low.
Can you hear me better? Can you hear me better?
No, it still sounds far.
Just having difficulty.
You know what? I'm going to take my headphones right out.
Okay.
Phones.
That's better.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the graduation requirements and how they are aligned to the minimum requirements for college admissions. We're looking here at the core content areas of English, math, science, and social studies on top. The expectation is 4 credits of both English and math, starting freshman year through senior year. Science, the expectation is 3 years of a lab science. Then we move on to social studies, three credits of social studies, keeping in mind too that there are also advanced placement options at all of our high schools. 2 credits of foreign language, 2 credits of PE and health, half a credit of fine arts, and half a credit of technology, half a credit of financial literacy. Each high school expects a performance-based diploma assessment, such as a senior research project. And then there's a college and career readiness-based exam graduation requirement as well. So that is aligned with the minimum college admission requirements. The colleges your students are going to be applying to are going to want to see 4 years of English, 2 years of the same foreign language, 3 years of a math up to Algebra 2, 2 years of history, 2 years of a lab science, biology, and chemistry, and 5 additional college prep courses, and that SAT or PSAT. And so moving on to how we are able to ascertain whether your child is being able to collect these graduation requirements accurately. Something we do in the fall and in the spring with your student is meeting them individually to review their credits. One thing that we've done new this year is called a student success plan, and it's a one-on-one meeting that we have with your student using the Naviance individualized learning plan platform. And what we do is we go through what your student has completed and what they need to complete. And we are able to determine what credits they still need to complete so that they'll be eligible for that graduation come time for senior year, when we can start to bring our focus to planning for post-secondary options.
Okay, and in addition to that, one of the things when we meet with each one of the expectation that the school department have for each student is senior, upon graduation, they must complete a plan. They have to have a plan. The plan is we talk to them about the option they have. They have several options because we try to make sure they know they have different options. They have the option to go to college. They have the option to choose to go to the military. They have the option to join the job market, or maybe university and college basically are the same. And then, or they have the option to go to an apprenticeship or a trade or technical school. What we mean by that, we talk to the student, we listen to them, we listen to see what they want to do after they graduate from high school, because we don't want to just give them a piece of paper, a diploma, and then we say, okay, goodbye. We want to make sure that they have a plan, and the plan is wide open. There's so many choices the students have before they graduate from high school, and we try to explain to them very clearly. And one of the things, the difference between high school and college. In high school, the student try to get a good grade so they can get to a very good school or get a good job. But in college, the student have to have a good grade because they can afford to retake these classes, because college is so expensive, because you don't want to make sure you repeat the class. Therefore, you make sure that you try to get a good grade in order for you not to repeat the class.
We want your student to be organized, and there are different ways in which they can research post-secondary options. One of our main ways of doing that in Providence is through the Naviance portal. There is a college tab at the top of their dashboard where they can take advantage of searches there. There are several surveys they can take part in. They can access a wide range of options for post-secondary exploration there. The College Board is also a great place for them to tap into the college search through something called Big Future. They can also take a peek at scholarships there and start to think. Maybe even the timetable I suggest really is October of junior year to start thinking about career plans for after high school, taking the PSAT, keeping your grades up. If you're looking for armed services, as Jim's mentioned, contacting a congressperson if you're interested in that. Start working on the college essay for sure. Definitely, I would say by the spring, hopefully your student's English teacher will be a wonderful resource for that. So you can start doing that search with your student anytime really. But the junior year, definitely the spring of junior year is a great time to be thinking of that, so you can start to plan for maybe some visits as well. Then moving on to, I wouldn't tap into the Common Application until getting through the summer and waiting until September of senior year. So that was down at the bottom of the Get Organized. So stay away from those platforms, because you don't want your child during junior year. You don't want your child to get too far ahead without the necessary support that the school counselors can provide. Plus, it doesn't open up until sometime after August 1st anyway. Oh, let's see. I think that's Jim's.
Yeah, let's talk now about additional support available for a child. There's a lot of support that available inside each one of our school. You have the college and career counselor, school counselor. Basically, this is someone who's there to support your child, do some research about different colleges, different career they might be interested, as well as the guidance counselor. We have an advisory system, and the advisory system, that's when they use Naviance, to research, or they use the College Board to research about different college or different career. We have after school club, which is each one of the school has different after school club to support the student and research about different college, different career, working the college essay, talking about different career they might be thinking about. And you got the Rhode Island Education Talent Search called ETS. ETS is the organization, is that CCI, different students belong to ETS. Then you got the Upward Bound program. The Upward Bound program is to Rhode Island College, where they start working with those students starting in the junior, and the sum of the junior year, start working the college essay, visiting different college. Both organizations take those students visiting different colleges, which is two great organizations. Then you have Onward We Learn. Onward We Learn, basically, they'll start working with the students starting in middle school. They first start in middle school, those kids start talking about colleges. Then you have College Vision. College Vision is another program which is work with the student, working the college essay, doing college search, and talking about different, and go out there visiting different colleges. We're doing the college application, doing the common application. Then you have the College Planning Center of Rhode Island, which is one of our biggest resources, where you find that a lot of students go to the College Planning Center, whether to talking about colleges or do the financial aid. Those are some of the service we have. In addition, we have, which is one of the things was not in there, which is I find that extremely important. We work with the city. We work where we take students explore different, like, Launa construction. We got electric boat where we take the student, do a lot of the research. It's not just we focus on the colleges, but we focus on trade as well. And I want to make sure that clear, because we want to keep the student option open. Plus, we have all the military, they're in the lunchroom. They come up their lunchroom, they work with our student, which is they provide a lot of the services that the student. Therefore, there's a lot of support that are available in our school system. Okay, that's me. Okay, let's talk about the college process, the snapshot of the college process, which is one of the snapshots, as like Ann was talking about. Starting in your junior year, you need to start doing doing some college search. You start using the College Board, and you start using Naviance. And there's a lot college visit. Like I said, some of those organizations take students to visit colleges. As well, there's open house. All the colleges have different open house. And plus, every single high school in Rhode Island, we invite admission counselor to come to our school to do presentation. And not just colleges, but trade school, military come up there to do presentation in our school. Then we have a major fair in September. Every year we have a major college and career fair on September. And then the counselor, we create a timeline by grade level, when everything due, when you come to the senior year, when the college application due, when the SATs, when you start working in your college essay. And we have students create the common application account beginning in September. And in September, your counselor will give you step by step to link your common application to Naviance. One of the things students need to do when they do the common application, they have to link it to Naviance. That's where we send all the information to colleges through Naviance. It's extremely important the student do that. And we have a Naviance parents account. If you don't have the account, you can contact us. We can make sure that you have the account as well. We invite teachers to write student letter recommendation. As your student, did you ask your teachers to write a letter recommendation for you, or your guidance counselor? You need to do that. That's one of the things you need to do in your senior year. Most important thing going now is the FSID creation. Is extremely important for both parents and students to create a FSAID. You need to complete that. The FSAID, basically, this is the way you sign your student financial aid, and is extremely important. The financial aid is not open now, but it will be open in December. But you must create the FAFSA ID now. Then in December, when the financial aid is open, we can complete the financial aid. And we have different events. We have FAFSA ID completion in different schools. Also, we're going to have the financial aid completion in different schools. We don't have the specific date, but we will share the date with you all. Then we have scholarship. They have scholarship share and search posted on Naviance. And Naviance, they put different scholarship. The difference between financial and the scholarship, the scholarship is free money. Please take advantage of it. There are different organizations that provide free money for your kid to attending private school, to attending different colleges. Those money are free. Take advantage of them. There's a lot of research. Talk to your son and daughter about, did you apply for scholarship? Did you go to Naviance? Search about different scholarship that are available. Okay, college and career fair and support for post-secondary planning. We, like I said before, we have the district college fair. This year, it was in September 2023 for juniors and seniors. We have school-based college visit. For instance, every single school takes students visiting different colleges. And also parents, you can take advantage. On Saturday, they have different open house. You can go, you can find out what day different college doing different open house. You can assisting them. We have the fall FAFSA event at school open house. Okay, therefore that should be coming up soon. And we have District 5-Star ID event. That was in November 14, 2023 at CCRI and Providence campus. But each school do the 5-Star ID completion different. They take advantage of that. They can assisting you in completing your 5-Star ID. Then we have elementary and middle school career fair. As a parent, if you have your son and daughter thinking about going to what they're going to from elementary going to middle school, we have different fair. And then we have middle school visit to Rhode Island College. Therefore, we starting the student starting middle school, we start introduce them to different colleges. We take them visiting colleges to know what they need when they get out of high school to make sure they keep up the grade and for them to get into some good school. Okay, let's talk about, we have different trade program we introduce students to. For instance, we have, like I said today, we have students who already start with electric boat, where they start doing their apprenticeship training every afternoon with electric boat. We go to New England Tech, we go to the electric boat facility. Therefore, those group of students, when they finish, they will get offer to electric boat. We have students that who doing who go to the Rhode Island Builder construction, and we have students who do cosmetology. We have electric. We have the what you call the building future, and we have different programs. Prepare I. Those are some of the students doing Prepare I. Therefore, there are different trade we introduce the student to. Like, for example, this some of those military services, and those military services spend a great deal of time in our school talking to students. It's not there to recruiting the student, providing the student choices about if they're thinking about military, they talk to them. They not there to recruit them for them to join the military. They're there if any student thinking about going to the military, they will talk to the student about different options they have. And for instance, we have at Central itself, we have what you call a fire academy program, which is students start in the junior year, which is some of the students taking classes about firefighter to become a firefighter. At Hope High School, they have the JROTC program, which is an excellent program. Each school, they have different program that students can join. For example, I know in Alvarez, they have the health program, and some of the schools, they have the teaching academy. Therefore, they have different programs. The student, they start introduce student to. By the time they graduate from high school, they know what they want to do. Okay, like I talk about the electric boat. Then there's other program, which is you got Year Up. Year Up is a program which is you can spend 1 year. Basically, what that program does, it prepares students for the corporate world. You work for a company, they train you for 5 months. They give you training for you to get ready to work in the corporate environment. You find that some of the students work at places like Citizen Bank. They work like places like GTech, like Fidelity Investment. And while they're doing that, the training, they got paid. Like if a student thinking about taking a year off, that's a good, excellent, good gap year. Then you have programs like City Year through Merit Corps, where the student volunteer their services in different elementary school, which is excellent. It look good in the transcript. And then those are some of the students who say, hey, guess what? I want to take a year off. I want to give back to our communities. And the students do that. And then you have electric boat. Electric boat become one of the major employers. It's not just you got the job working in electric boat, they train you. They train you in different aspects of trade. For example, from plumbing to welding to become electrician. Therefore, in addition to that, you'll be getting paid. You'll be making $20 an hour. $20, some students making $24 an hour. Therefore, you'll be getting paid and got a trade, which you don't have to pay for. And if you go back to Year Up, some of the average salary for some of the students is about $52,000 a year.
Thank you, Jim Sinan. So we do have a school counselor directory, which is linked right here and also on our webpage. Many of our schools use a QR code to have students make appointments with their counselors. You can refer to this directory to see who your child's school counselor is. At the bottom of this document, there are four tabs actually, one for elementary. So all the elementary counselors are listed here. The middle school counselors, the high school counselors is in the next tab. Hang on, I just have to move this way. Yep. And the district staff, that's myself, and are on this page. So we have approximately 80 counselors within the Providence schools. So please reach out to your school counselor if you have questions for them about college and career planning, your child's grades, attendance. We provide also any social emotional support students may need. Counselors go into classrooms, meet with students in small groups or individually. You can email your child's counselor or call them directly if you have questions. At this time, do you have any questions for us before we begin our next piece on financial aid?
Yes, I just want to reinforce with our families that are on the call to please maximize this opportunity. A lot of information has been shared, but definitely please write in any questions you might have or even comments in the Q&A. Look at the icon at the very bottom of your screen, and you can write your question in English or in Spanish. And also, if you would like to ask your question out loud, you're able to do that. I will just need to call your name as it appears on your video, and I will ask you to unmute. Gina, I do have someone that did raise their hand. I'm going to go ahead and just have them. They're going to appear here on the right. So I believe it's Sheila Cruz. Sheila, you raised your hand. You have a question. You have to unmute yourself. Sheila, si tiene alguna pregunta o comentario, levantó sus manos. Por favor, si quiere desactivar su micrófono.
Sí,
Okay.
ya.
Muy bien, ya le escucho.
Okay. Yes, my question is when the kids they start doing this program, they give it to them this kind of like a points the soon they start they go inside in the high school. Let's go see if they're going to the 8th grader and they start the high school. That's when they start an 8th grader to have those kind of credits, or they're supposed to do the be in 12th grade so they can start have credits.
So what we do at the elementary level is the counselors do career fairs and talk to students about career opportunities that they have after high school. They begin to think about it early on in elementary school. And then in middle school, they explore it a little bit deeper. The Naviance platform that we have is for students in grades 6 through 12. So at that time, they're learning about different opportunities, college and career opportunities. So they're exploring it a little bit more. They're also learning about what graduation requirements we have in each high school. So those 21 credits we talked about begins in 9th grade. So 9th to 12th grade is when the students have to attain those credits to be able to graduate from our high school. But we're talking to students about that in middle school. So when they're prepared and when they go on to high school, they already know what's required of them.
Okay, I have one more question.
Sure.
If the student or the child is in IEP program, they help them to finish the 12 grades, or they still continue help them, especially if they're thinking to going to college. They got some the staff that can help them about this?
Can I answer the question? Yes. For instance, if a student have an IEP, the colleges, when they apply to college, they still have assistant. They have office who help out student with IEP. For instance, if your son or daughter have an IEP, the counselor will sit with your son, will make sure that they know what kind of form, what they need in order to provide the colleges, in order for them to receive the service that they need. For instance, at CCI, they have the access program. They have a office just for students with learning disabilities. All the colleges do have that. If the student have a 504, and you need to provide the college with that information, they will continue support. Not because your son or daughter have an IEP, that doesn't mean they don't have access to college. All students have access to college.
Okay, my last question, because I hear the last part they hear, I hear they do it like in groups. When the kid or the child or the student, they have IEP, they doing the same thing like they do all these years, like a small groups, I'm sorry, and they do it one by one, or they change a little bit more.
We do most of the one-to-one interview, like meeting with the student, we're doing one by one. We don't do it as a group. Sometimes we have group, like if we're doing something together, we will have a group, but most of the time when we do it one by one, not as a group.
James, I
Okay.
think that I think mom wants to know too whether or not will that way of, the learning process in school right now in high school, will it continue that way? How much will it change once they are in college?
When they get to college, basically, yes, you will find they're going to be different, but there's going to be support service for you in order for you to assisting the student. They have office, they have tutoring, they have people who's going to be there to continue supporting your student after the class.
So James, at a particular any college, they'll
Mhm.
have an advisor that will provide them the guidance.
Yes, yeah, especially a student with an IEP, you will receive an advisor. There's an office especially that will provide you advising, and also they provide you counseling, and they provide you the support that you need in order for you to succeed in the college. I know, for instance, at CCI, they have the Access program. The Access program is a program that they make sure you have different support. For instance, you have study skills, time management. For example, a student, have an IEP, which is don't know how to manage the time. Therefore, they will have someone to assisting you with that, teach you how to manage your time, how to keep note, things like that.
Okay. Sheila, you all set with your questions? You have anything else?
Yes, no, that video. Thank you so much.
You're
It's
welcome.
okay for you to ask any other questions later, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right. You're welcome. Okay, we have another question. I believe this particular question is in the Q&A. It's in Spanish. Buenas noches. A partir de qué edad podemos empezar con dicho programa? This question is similar to what Sheila had asked in terms of when does the student actually start these programs. So I think the idea of the credits is something that is just clarification for any family that's on here that has a child in either elementary and they wanted to join because they want to start learning about this process. And then some that might be in middle school. So again, the 21 credits, as you mentioned, Gina, just to confirm, it does start once the child is in 9th grade.
School, right, 9th grade. Mhm.
Okay,
And
very
the
good.
graduation requirements are changing a little bit with the Rhode Island Department of Ed, that we're still going to have 21 credits, but there's different courses that students may have to take. So that's right now, that's our current graduation requirements.
Okay, very good. So before you move on, we do have one more person that has raised their hand. His name is Jimmy. So I'm going to go ahead and allow him to speak. Jimmy, if you can go ahead and unmute yourself, please.
Do you hear me?
See, yeah, we can hear you.
Yes. I came very late in that meeting. I came very late. I'm so sorry. But I would like to know how long that program gonna stay.
So it's not a particular program, right, Gina? The
No,
28
it's our high school. It's what we require to graduate from one of our high schools. So it's
Oh,
the
okay.
requirements that students need. So many classes in each of the content areas we had listed for them to get a graduate and get a diploma.
Eh,
I want to
okay.
know if the parents gonna have a mail from the school to know more about the program, please.
Is the parent? Yes, absolutely. When they get to high school, there'll be informational sessions and, emails and things like that going out to families so that they're aware of what is being asked of their child.
Okay, just to
Okay, that's
clarify a little bit more, Jimmy, what grade is your child in, please?
He's 12.
What grade?
12.
Oh, the last year. So even
Yeah.
very,
Oh,
Yeah,
Yes.
it's the last year, yeah.
Okay, Jimmy, one of the
Okay.
thing one of the thing I would suggest is for you to contact your son, make an appointment to see your son guidance counselor and to talk to your son
Okay.
guidance counselor. Because I find that sometimes as a student don't, especially my 12th grade, they don't have excellent communication when it comes to talk to their parents. Please make sure you make an appointment with your son or daughter guidance counselor.
Okay, I will.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Yeah.
I see another question in the Q&A that I can answer. So one example of a graduation requirement for the class of 28, so that's current 8th graders right now, is we have middle school algebra available, and some students are enrolled in it, and it counts as a high school credit for us. And it can count as one of those 4 high school classes. However, next year, when those students become 9th grade, that class will not count as one of the 4. It still counts as a high school credit, but the students will still have to take 4 math courses in high school. So right now, that counts as one of the 4, although we always encourage students to take that additional math class in their senior year, right, to get to that advanced math level. So that's one of the changes. There aren't so many, like the financial literacy, it's different ways that it may not be a separate class. It could be embedded in one of the classes we already offer. But all information will be shared out with families so that they know what is required of their child to graduate from high school. The question by
we do have a few comments here. But Gina, do you want to reiterate that if any family that's on here, we have 37, but that if any family that's here that has a child in 12th grade, it's critical, right? That they meet with that guidance counselor right away, especially because of FAFSA and
absolutely.
everything.
Yes. Any question, please reach out to your child's school counselor if you need more information about graduation requirements, college planning, because it is timely, especially if you have a senior. My son is interested in a carpenter program in high school, and I need to know if he needs those credits to get in. He can.
And he's in 7th grade, just so you see the next question. This is
Okay.
Go ahead.
So carpenter, we have a program at PCTA. So he does not need that to get into PCTA. That's while he's in high school, what he'll need those credits. And then I see, so does that mean that it is no longer seems important to take advanced academics in middle school? It is important, absolutely. We still want students to take advanced level courses if they have the opportunity in middle school as well as high school. So if they take Algebra 1 in grade 8, that means they begin geometry in grade 9. Then they'll go on to Algebra 2, pre-calculus, calculus, or statistics. So we want them to get to that advanced level math class, especially if they're interested in a science, technology, or math program in college. It also helps them to get exposure or access to merit-based scholarships because it shows that they're taking rigorous courses in high school. So definitely beneficial to do that. We just want them to get that additional advanced level math class. Right, thank you.
Maybe a little bit
Questions?
later, Gina, there's no more questions. I think maybe a little bit later, right before you end, if you can just show that slide again, the one that you have all the 21 credits,
Sure,
just to re-emphasize. That
okay,
information.
we could
Okay.
do that. All right, so I will move on now to the financial aid section. Jim's, we'll begin with that piece right here.
Okay, the financial aid 101. Okay, one of the things about financial aid, sometimes you heard that people say, my son is not going to college. My son thinking about taking a year off. Therefore, I should not do the financial aid. I don't need to do the 5-star ID. I would say, please, all parents need to complete the financial aid and need to do the 5-star ID. And the I don't know, let me explain what is financial aid is. Okay, financial aid basically is money providing by the federal government to help students continue with the post-secondary education. That's what is financial aid. Because when a student starting from the time in kindergarten to the time they graduate from high school, we as a state, we owe you an education. You have to go to school. That's a requirement for all citizens of United States and non-citizens of United States. You must be in school. However, when you graduate from high school, you got the option whether you want to continue or not. But the federal government feels that it is necessary to help you improve your skill by continue getting a post-secondary education. They will provide you money for you to go to school, whether they will give you grant or they will give you loan. Okay, next. Okay, now.
Want to let Ann do
Yeah.
this piece?
Okay, so RISLA is the Rhode Island Student Loan Authority. They have a resource, the College Planning Center. They offer free one-on-one assistance with college searches. They also help with essays, financial aid forms, comparing your award letters. That can get a little complicated, and you can book appointments with them. It's a free service. They're celebrating their 25th anniversary, and they're also offering $200 in prizes. So there's a link right there for you to afford yourself the opportunity to win prizes through RISLA. But please keep in mind that they're a wonderful resource. The FAFSA application has actually it's not opening up until December 31st. So that's really important for all families to know. And they have moved. They are at Chapel View Plaza in Cranston. So those are two important notes for families to take note of.
Okay. What is financial aid? The financial aid help you pay for college and is provided to the federal government, state, school, or private business organization. And in that statement, they say pay for college. No, the financial aid, we can add the financial aid pay for college as well as trade and technical school as well, not just for college. And you got several types of financial aid. Okay. Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Okay, you have the federal, you have the state, you have the school, and you have private. There are different type of money you can receive to the financial aid. You have the federal money, you have the state money, You have like school, which is school provide what you call scholarship, scholarship. Then you have the private, which is academic scholarship. It come from the school, which is come from endowment, money that they receive from the alumni, especially on private school. They have a large endowment, like for example, Brown. Let's say if you apply to Brown, you make a certain amount of money, you can end up going to Brown for free, as well as Harvard. Let's say Harvard University, if you apply to Harvard, you make $120,000 or $20,000 or less, you can go to Harvard for free. A lot of the private school, because they have endowment money to provide money to students to attending the school. Don't tell your son and daughter, don't apply to that particular school, is because the school is too expensive. Sometimes the most expensive school, you might end up going there for free. And then you have private organization. You have different organizations who say, guess what? We want to give scholarship out because we want to have a student in our community. You have different organizations like fraternities, sororities, and you got places like, for example, even like the College Training Center, they have different scholarship they're available. You have organization like the YMCA, and place that you work at, like, the company you work for, Walmart, they do have scholarship. Therefore, take advantage of all different money that available. Okay, let's talk about merit-based scholarship. Merit-based scholarship is based on your grade, your involvement, your school involvement, your activities. And those are made, sometimes a lot of them merit-based scholarship associated with SAT score. They will match your SAT score plus your grade, plus your activities, then you will receive a scholarship. Student will receive scholarship based on the sport. If you play sport, play baseball, they have an excellent baseball player or basketball player, they will receive sport. They're great musician, they're great dancer, they will receive a scholarship because of that involvement they are in school, because of that skill they have. Type of aid. There are 4 types of financial aid broken into 2 categories. They have gift aid, is money that doesn't need to be paid. When you heard the word grant means free, take it. When you heard the word scholarship, take it. And those are free money. And self-aid is self-investment philosophy, loan, work study. And you got the loan, you got the work study. Next. Okay. Oops. Can you take that? Okay. Okay. Let's talk about the Pell Grant. The Pell Grant financial need on the graduate award to the College Financial Aid Office. The average, the maximum award of Pell Grant the past year is about $7,395. This is how much you will receive from the federal government, that's free money, and you don't repay that back. But one of the things with that grant, you have to apply for it every year. It's not every you might receive $7,395, or you might receive less, depending how much money you make in that particular year. Work study basically is money you receive while you're in college. You work in the college campus. You work you can work in the financial office. You can work in the library. You can work, doing tutoring if you're good in a particular subject. That's work study. Then you have the Federal Supplement Education Opportunity Grant. Those are for undergraduate pursuing baccalaureate or professional degree. A professional degree. That particular grant, it went from $100 to $4,000, and that's SEOG. Okay, now you have different type of loan. You have the federal direct loan, which is you got the subsidized, the federal government pay. The subsidized mean that the federal government will say, while your son and daughter are in school, you don't have to pay the interest. the government will pay the interest for you. Okay, that's very good. For example, if your son is in school, they are in school for 4 years. During that 4 years, if you borrow $7,000, that $7,000 says $7,000. There's no interest accompanying that. Unsubsidized mean is a student is responsible for all interest charge accrued while in school. Therefore, every year, if the interest is about maybe 6%, that student, that's calculated into that loan that student take. The student is responsible for that interest. And those things are what to student or family cannot prove financial need. Let's say if your parents cannot prove that you have a need. Yeah, you're making like, you're making 200,000 grand a year. Therefore, you don't have a need. Therefore, you can borrow that unsubsidized loan. Sometimes the reason why people take those kind of loans because they low interest. The FAFSA, the FAFSA must be submitted in order to be eligible for federal direct loan. For instance, that's the reason why I emphasize that all parents need to complete the financial aid because for instance, let's say if your situation change in the middle of that particular, by the time they can get into college, if your situation change, you can appeal your financial package. You can send a letter to that college stating that how your situation changed. For example, the parents might lose their job by the time the kid get into college. Therefore, if you don't do the financial aid, there's nothing the institution can do for you. But if you do your financial aid, they can look over your financial aid. Therefore, instead of not getting unsubsidized loan, you might get subsidized loan. Instead of getting no grant, you might end up getting grant because your situation changed. That's the reason why it's important for you to do it. If you don't do it, there's nothing they can do for you. Okay, when we're talking about statement, we're talking about the state of Rhode Island, and amount award depend on the state you live in. Award typically available to residents and of that state only. For example, if you're not resident of that state, you're not going to get that money from the state of Rhode Island. The application procedure can vary. Some vary. Provide fund to eligible college Rhode Island for distribution to students. To eligible for consideration, a student must file a complete FAFSA. For instance, in order for you to be eligible for the Rhode Island Promise, you must apply for financial aid. You will not be eligible if you not apply for financial aid. Sometimes people think, okay, I'm eligible because I'm a Rhode Island resident, I'm eligible for the Rhode Island Promise. No, you must complete the FAFSA for you to get the free 2 years at CCRI. One of the good things happened now, they have what you call the Hope Scholarship to Rhode Island College. The Hope Scholarship is a 2 years free. Your last 2 years at Rhode Island College, you can go there for free. Okay, but you have to starting freshman year in order for you to get the last 2 years for free. You cannot go from CCI to Rhode Island College, then you think you're going to get 2 years free at Rhode Island at CCI, then you got another 2 years at Rhode Island College. No, that's not the way it works. You must start as a freshman, then your junior year and your senior year will be free. Okay, and got more information, call Rhode Island College to get more information if you need more information about that. Institution aid, school enrolled institution grade based on financial need. May use the federal methodology of institution methodology for determining your financial need. The amount of grant can vary widely depending upon how much money the school has available. Some prestigious college offers a generous grant so that the financial needy student can still afford to attend. Like I mentioned previously, And my first, in the beginning of the presentation, I talk about places like for example, like Brown University, like Woodard School of Design. They have enough money to provide money to students to attending the institution for free. That's called, those are institution money. And you're talking about the money they receive from endowment, from alumni, which is to provide to provide financial aid to needy students. Therefore, don't tell your son or daughter not to apply to high cost education because you think it's too expensive, but because they have money to provide to your son or daughter to attending this school. Okay, merit-based. We're talking about merit-based aid. Merit-based aid is based on academy, vary by school. SAT score tend to be a factor. Check admission for the policy. What do you have to do to keep it up? Some school, if you have a merit-based scholarship, you must keep a certain GPA. Some GPA range from 3.0 to 2.5. Let's say if you receive a presidential scholarship, that's vary. For instance, at Providence College, they have the MLK scholarship, with 4 students. You must have some good grade in order for you to be eligible for that scholarship. That's a full tuition. Different schools have different merit-based scholarship you can apply for. Let me go back. One of the things I said to apply for, those merit-based scholarship you don't apply for. Basically, the decision are made by the admission office. They look at your SAT score, they look at your grade. You don't apply for the scholarship. Automatically, the minute you apply, you will be eligible for the merit-based scholarship based on some of those factors they look at.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you, Jimps.
Yep.
Thank you, Jimps.
You're welcome.
Yeah, the merit is something that we'll see when we cover the award letters. We'll talk a little bit about that. Moving on to scholarships a bit more. Scholarships are given to a student by an individual or group of people to help pay college expenses. Local scholarships are often easier to get than national scholarships. Scholarships aren't just for straight A students. Many are based on need or are awarded to students with certain traits or interests. You should never pay a service to find your scholarships. They are typically scams. Be really wary of that because those can be concealed in very fancy packaging the scholarship offers from folks that are offering money to your student and asking for money in exchange. That's not a reputable scholarship organization offering money to you. So just toss those envelopes or bring them into the school counselor and they'll guide your student or family in the right direction. Don't narrow your search to just the internet. Ask your school counselor, read the local newspapers, check postings at your local library. Let me think of some other, once again, like Jim's mentioned too, where your child works is really an important thing to explore. Jim's, I saw you on mute.
I would say the Rhode Island Foundation, that's one of the major scholarship site they should be looking at, especially in Rhode Island. The Rhode Island Foundation, there's a lot of scholarship in that particular website.
Thank you, Jim's. Is that the same as rischolarships.org? Or no, that's different.
That's different. Yeah.
Okay, so check both of those, Rhode Island Foundation and Rhode Island Scholarships.org. Okay, so moving on to the award letter. This can be a very interesting process because JIMPS did delineate between the 3 different types of financial considerations when thinking about funding college with your student. And those are loans, grants, and scholarships. it's important to take a look at that award letter when it comes in and compare it to other award letters and look at the ticket price for the college overall. We've got some institutions in this country that are of really high tuition, and you might find that your student is being offered a very large grant. However, it's not bringing it down to even the scholarship, to even the tuition for our local institutions here in Rhode Island. So take a look at that award letter. It's very exciting to be accepted to the schools, and definitely celebrate as a family the acceptances. Yet wait for all those acceptances to come in and then do a comparison of the grants and scholarships, the loans, taking into account the employment of your student. Did they get offered a work study within that award letter when it comes in? You may meet some or all of your financial need or eligibility. The award letter is definitely something your school counselor can help you with. So please note that we are here as your resource with helping your family with that. Applying for financial aid, it's really important. Once again, I know we've been reminding through so many different outlets the importance of creating an FSA ID. Thank you to all the parents that are on today, and I'm almost certain that if you are a parent of a senior and you're on this right now, you're the family that is really wanting to or has already completed this process. If you could spread the word in your community too, that would be awesome. We're trying to get those rates up, and we're trying to see as many students completing with their families the FSA ID requirements so that they can do the FAFSA when it opens up. You'll find that at studentaid.gov. Complete the FAFSA, required by every school to qualify for federal financial aid. Apply online once the FAFSA is available, December 31st. Once again, that's much later than usual. We're going to talk a little bit about the CSS profile and what that is and the importance of doing that as well. Once again, pay attention to the deadlines at your schools, at the colleges and universities that you plan to apply to. The CSS profile.
I'm sorry, Ann. Can you
Yeah.
can you clarify? Because I know that there are some families, maybe they didn't ask the question here, but a question that has come up recently is this push for this FSID. How is that different from a person who, a parent that went through the same process, let's say 2 years ago or a year ago? I believe parents are saying like, well, I know as a parent, I had to go in there and have my own ID. What is the difference between this ID and the ID to actually go into FAFSA completion?
Okay, so one thing, and then I'm going to actually make sure that Gina reiterates. So one thing to keep in mind, if you have a sibling that has and the parent has already created an FSA ID, then that's already been created, but some changes have been made, and I'm gonna put that on Gina.
Yes, so the FSA ID, parents have had to create one before in order for students to access financial aid through the family's tax return information. So with this new piece of it is they still have to complete an FSA ID to be able to access that money. So it may be one parent. Before it was one parent, now it may be both, depending on their, marriage status or who they're living with, who's the one that's really taking care of their income. So there's different situations, but yes, at least one parent, if not both, may have to create that FSA ID as well as the student. And they have to do that first before they can complete the FAFSA.
Okay, thank you.
I did see in the chat which grade level, right? When the students applied for financial aid, that's grade 12. their last year of high school, their senior year. And then I can get to some of the other questions, maybe in a bit, all right? So the CSS profile, Ann, you're gonna continue?
Yeah. Yeah, they're just, we're all kind of going through the latest changes that are being made to the FAFSA. We're going through it together.
Yeah, we're being trained right now on it, so
Yeah.
to be prepared for when it opens to support families.
So the CSS profile, it's important. It's just as important as the FAFSA because it serves as that mechanism to access financial assistance at private institutions. So if you're applying to any private institution, it's important to go to the College Board website, and at the bottom of the College Board website, you will see a CSS profile icon down on the bottom of the very first page. And you can click on that and see all of the colleges and universities that participate in the CSS. So it's important if your child is applying to URI and Rhode Island College, they know they want to stay near home and they're applying for the state schools here, they won't access the CSS profile. But if they're applying to Providence College, I think Salve University, Salve also, and maybe Roger Williams, CSS will ask for additional financial information than what will be on the financial aid form. So a good idea is to have your tax return available at that. You're going to sit down with that with your child. It looks a little bit deeper into your financial situation. Say you have some real estate or anything like that. It's looking for any income you're receiving from any small business you might own. And moving forward, applying for financial aid. File any supplemental financial aid forms required by your school. Let the financial aid office know of any special circumstances that may affect your family's ability to fund your education. So this is important. Working with the school that you end up deciding on going to, or if you are conflicted after looking at the award letter, it's important to communicate with the financial aid office to see if maybe you might be able to have a conversation about any needs you might have as a family. Send in any documents the financial aid office at your school requires to complete your application. Review your FAFSA results and your student aid index. So you're going to get, you are going to get a result as to what the expectation of your family is for contributing, what monies that they have to contribute to your child's education. So you're going to review that and then correct any of the information. If you see any discrepancies on your feedback from the FAFSA, that's when it's time to correct that information. You can call them. It's, you will get a person on the phone and they will support you with that. And then review the CSS profile if applicable. I have found that the private institutions are very helpful when you feel as though maybe you didn't get the award that you felt you should be getting. They're very helpful in communicating with families and describing why. Okay, moving on, applying for financial aid. Review your financial aid package in your award letter. Include details of the awards. That's what the award letter will do. It's going to let you know. So you might get a letter from, let's say, Quinnipiac, and it's going to say, congratulations, you've been accepted. We're awarding you $30,000 in merit aid money. And then at the end of the day, you want to take a look at how much it costs to go to Quinnipiac, which I think is about $70,000 a year. So then you're going to kind of subtract that. You've got $40,000 left, or you take a look at what kind of financial aid. Do you have a loan that you need to pay back, or is it a grant? So you want to sit down and figure out if this is something that you want to accept, deny or appeal. And then you want to accept so that you can really secure that award that's being given, because it's only being given for a certain amount of time. There's going to be a deadline to accept.
Okay, so meeting the students' needs, so choose your college wisely. Not all colleges will meet 100% of your needs, so talk to the College Planning Center to help determine which college is best for your student and your family. How much those colleges will cost, how much you're actually going to have to pay for it, as Ann had mentioned, and how much will be covered in grants or scholarships. Private colleges generally meet a higher percentage of need. So even though their cost may be more, they're usually more generous with what they offer for scholarships. Awards a higher percentage of a gift aid. So many students can attend a private college for the same cost as a public university. So don't turn, your child away from applying to schools that they may be interested in. At the end of the day, they can see what they receive from any of the colleges they apply to, and then make a decision what is best for them. So help is available. We talked about as your school with your school counselor, and also the College Planning Center. They take appointments by phone. They can connect with you online over Zoom to go through the information and help you complete the FAFSA. So their information is right here. Lastly, for a copy of this presentation, you can use this scan this QR code to get a copy of it. I know that there are a couple of questions in the chat that I'll address right now. A question is, my daughter's in 7th grade on the advanced academic program. Will that make a difference in high school? Yes, absolutely. Students who are in advanced programs in middle school, the high schools do look at that, especially classical high school, PCTA schools that you're applying to that have an application. So it's definitely helpful and recommended. And it, depending on the course that they've completed in middle school, it will project them to be in an advanced level course, especially as I mentioned in math. So if they're in algebra in middle school, they'll go on to geometry in high school that first year. We have another question here. Are state scholarships only for state schools? James, do you want to take that one?
Yes, no, it's not just for the state scholarship can go to private institution as well, not just for state school. Okay, especially with local school like places like Roger Williams, Savvy Regina, Providence College, and Johnson Well, they will take the state scholarship as well.
Thank you. Do we have additional questions at this time?
Oh, Gina, I just wanted to mention the
Mhm.
big future scholarships start junior year. So you
Yeah.
qualify just by building a college list, practicing for SATs. It's from $500 to $40,000. So just have your child keep up with tasks on the College Board.
College Board, that's a great
And also,
reminder.
one of the things that I like to mention, we say that we have a lot of partner. Make sure your student belong to some of those organizations like ETFs, like the Outward Bound program is a great program who provide extra support with that process as well too. For example, places like the Outward Bound, they have a great enrichment program. They have a summer program, which is for free, where your kid can stay in the college. When you come to your senior year, they will help you out of all that process with all those college application, the financial aid. You're going to have 2 counselors. You're going to have your school counselor, plus you're going to have a counselor from the organization working with the student hand on hand.
Thank you, James. We have another question. If you get more than one acceptance letter and choose one based on the scholarship offered, but end up getting a late letter, can you change your acceptance, or are you stuck with the first choice?
To answer that question, you have until May 1st. Don't pick up your first your first offer. And that's what you got until May 1st. Look at all the offer together before you give an answer to a school. If you don't apply early decision means you're bounding to take that offer. If you apply early action, you got until May 1st. Don't let any college say that you have to make a decision by a certain time, because if you don't apply early decision, and you don't need to give them an answer until May 1st.
And by then you should have all the acceptances back to make a decision.
Okay. There aren't any more questions. I don't know if there's any last minute reminder that you might want to share before you guys exit the Zoom. Perhaps again, just a reminder to our families, to ask their student who is their guidance counselor, or just again, call the school directly and find out who your guidance counselor is. Obviously, the most immediate would be those seniors that are out there, our 12th graders, just to make sure that families are aware of everything that was mentioned today, in terms of any opportunities to receive information from your child's guidance counselor, so that you don't miss out on any deadlines. So that's going to be critical. And I'm not sure if there's
Yep.
anything else.
They are there and happy to help. Please use them as a resource to get additional information and support.
Okay. Well, thank you so to come up with topics that we know interest you as families, but also to find out how, or your thoughts about whether or not the information that was just shared, if it was helpful. So we really need for you to participate and answer those questions. Go on to the chat. Jenny just put in a link. Click on the link and it should just open up. And please don't forget to hit submit. And submit will register those responses and we'll see them on our end. Okay. And once you submit your responses, I will be able to see your responses on another list where we will go ahead and take your names of those that participated to win one of the items that we mentioned earlier. Okay. So I see the chat. It says that the chat is disabled. Okay, so please don't go away. Let me just check to see what's going on with that. Give me 1 second. Okay, Jenny, can you put the link one more time? And we'll, Jenny, and just make sure that it says everyone, because I think right now it says host and panelists. You gotta change your two. You see that? Okay. Okay, if you can confirm in the Q&A, if you can see it now, please. Very good. Thank you so much for letting us know. So again, the feedback form, the link is there. Go ahead and click on there. And I just want to remind you that we do have another session that's coming up on Thursday. And just a reminder that the session, actually, no, it's tomorrow. It's the Providence Promise. And that's another scholarship program that was not mentioned today. So we want to make sure that you know of that particular program. That will be tomorrow at 6 o'clock. So you'll receive a reminder about 4 o'clock. Just letting you know to jump on the Zoom if you want to know more about that. If you know of other families that might have students in high school, please share the link. This information actually goes out to all families, specifically our middle school and our high school. But if you know of any elementary school parent that might be interested in this information, please go ahead and tell them this is open to all families. Okay, and then we have 2 others. We actually have another one on December 7th, responding to teen violence. And then our last one is CCRI. They will be offering information regarding some adult education programs and also some training programs, certification training programs. And that'll be our last one for the fall. That'll be in December 14th. So these reminders that you just received that you received for today, you saw that the flyer was also attached. Please make sure that you keep the link or that particular text so that way you have access to the flyer right away. Okay. Alrighty, so let me just see how many responses we have right now. We have about 22 families right now. So let's see how many responses we have to see if we can get started with the giveaway process here. Okay. Give me 1 minute. Okay. So we have about 13. Please only complete the information once. I really appreciate it. I'm just going to wait another minute. We had someone that just hit submit so that we can go ahead and grab your name. Again, just 1 minute. And then I want you to please stay looking at your screen. I'm going to go ahead and start the wheel to see who's going to be our winners for this evening. Okay, let me see. All right, I'm going to share my screen now. Okay, here are the list of participants. Okay, our first winner, our first prize, which is a junior tool belt set. It's a toy plus some coupons. It's Carolina Alzate. Carolina, please look at the chat. Jenny's going to enter the address where you have to pick up your item, but you'll receive a toy plus a group of tickets and food coupons for Burger King, Wendy's, but also Roger Williams Park free admission tickets. Okay, so that goes along with that toy. Okay, so here we go for the second item. Okay, and this is for Jimmy Arellano. Again, this is for Jimmy, also a toy, and you'll get the same envelope with the different tickets and vouchers. Congratulations. Again, keep looking at the chat so that way you can get our address. We would like for you to please claim these prizes within 5 days. Otherwise, we raffle them off again. Okay, this is the last prize of this evening. Again, another toy with different food coupons also. All right, and our winner is Ingrid Cevallo. Ingrid Cevallo, our third winner. Thank you everyone for attending tonight's Parent University. We really appreciate your participation. Again, look at the chat. I think someone just asked where you picked them up. Jenny, you put the address? Okay, so it's at 379 Washington Street, and that zip code is 02903. There is another Washington Street in Washington Park. So we want to make sure you go to the correct one. So again, we're located right behind the administration building, the school department. Okay. All righty, 379 Washington Street. Okay. So I want to thank everyone for attending. Thank you so much. I want to also thank our interpreters and Jenny for your assistance. Okay, everyone, have a good evening. Bye-bye.